out, scum. We walk the rest of the way. Come on the double. Let's have your valuables, your wallet, your watch, everything in your pockets. Now off with your coat and shirt. Help him, Roy. Was that unreasonable, scum?
No.
No what?
No, sir.
Off with your shoes and socks. I bet you wish you were back on the farm now.
It never occurred to me. Planting time is in the spring.
Assume the position. Up closer to the edge. Now you swim back and forth between here and the float until I call time. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Assume the position. Boom! Time. Get out.
Going a little rough on him, aren't you, Kai?
He's too full of defiance. I'm gonna break him. Bundle him up and put him in the car. All right, let's go. It's getting cold.
If you were giving a transfusion to your best friend, Baker, would you give this blood to him if this were type A?
No.
Why not?
Mine is type B. The two types are incompatible and would probably kill him.
Okay. You're 100% today, Mr. Baker. I'm afraid your friend is doomed to live. How's it going, Cooper?
Okay, Dr. Bryce.
I won't bother you. What is it, Kirkwood? Heterozygous or homozygous?
Homozygous.
M or N?
N.
Go back to your work.
Oh, Dr. Bryce, would you be so kind? I just don't have the nerve to stick myself with this today.
Won't your partner do it for you?
She draws blood like she's digging for oil. Daddy took a course in hematology here, but he never told me we'd have to take smears of our own blood.
I do that to discourage students from taking this course who aren't serious.
Ouch!
Hurt?
Yes. But I'm serious, Dr. Bryce. Dead serious.
Farmer. Ah, butterfingers. Come on back, I'll dress it for you. Under there. Iodine or mercurochrome?
That doesn't matter anything.
Can we take this off for a moment so it won't be in the way?
Sure.
How much longer do you have to wear it?
Until hell night.
When is that?
Well, they want the date kept a secret this semester.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Well, let's have it. Todd, doesn't Omega Nu require you to maintain a certain scholastic average before they vote you in?
Yes, 80.
Do you think you're averaging that?
I don't know.
You're not in this course. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Sit down for a moment, will you, Todd? I'd like to read you your grades. Here. Now, they started with 100, 90, 95, and then suddenly 75, 62.
62?
Look for yourself. 9 wrong out of 20 questions, and I give you the doubt on 2 of them. I wanted to talk to you about this before, but I sort of hoped you'd come to see me on your own.
Guess I've been busy.
That's obvious. You've been missing classes, coming late. Today, 45 minutes. Look, Todd, you've been my lab assistant for 2 months. We've burned a lot of midnight oil together. And I think you understand that I'm asking this not as an instructor, but as a friend. What happened to my top student? What hurdle did you trip over?
I don't know.
Some trouble at home?
No.
You still feel the way you used to about being a doctor?
Yes.
Well, and what is it? Has the initiation been too rough?
None of the other purchasers complain.
All right, Todd. If and when you can use an ear, let me know. I'm at your service.
Thank you. I will.
Freeze, scum. Over here. You got your eggs, scum?
Yes, sir.
How many signatures have you got?
7, sir.
Let me have it. Tracy, would you like to sign this? If the scum gets 10 signatures and doesn't break it, we erase 1 demerit. Coming up to state this Saturday to watch me play?
I might.
I know a guy who knows a guy. I think I can get you some tickets on the 50-yard line.
Really? How many? Pencil?
2. 1 for you, 1 for a broad-minded girlfriend who can get along by herself afterwards. It's a 3-hour trip back. We could stop at Kelly's Roadhouse.
Uh-uh.
Why not? We can dance. Maybe I'll ask you to wear my fraternity pin again.
Great Kai Walker ought to know. If you can't make a first down after 3 tries, a good idea is to kick.
Maybe. But I've been calling signals all year, and I haven't lost a game yet.
Catch.
Let me have your paddle.
Isn't it against the rules to battle scums on campus?
That's right. Assume the position. Have you forgotten something, scum?
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Next.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Stand up. You got your affidavit yet?
Not yet, sir.
You better get it. Quick. Dismissed. Let's go get something to eat.
You didn't show up last night.
I was tied up with a physics assignment.
I was by your place after art class. Your lights were out.
Heads up!
Beauty. Hey, Todd, how about unloading the chick and ending your body for a friendly game of manslaughter?
Yeah, come on, Todd. We need another good man over here.
I can. I'm due at the library.
Library? What's that?
That beats me.
That's the place they keep the books, I hear.
I thought college was only made up of football and prom. I'll see you later. See you, Todd.
They took you out again last night, didn't they? Todd, is joining a fraternity worth all this?
I think so. So do the other pledges.
The other pledges haven't been treated like you. Not Jerry or Beanie or Phil. Todd, I've watched Kai Walker. He wants to make you crawl. It's written all over his face.
He's the pledge master, Kathy. It's his job to make it as tough as he can for a pledge.
This is personal with him. You're not just a pledge, you're a challenge. He hits you and you don't give him the satisfaction of showing you've been hurt.
And I won't. I can take as much as he can dish out, right up until the time I get my pin. You'd better go in before the bell rings. Kathy, I forgot to give you something.
Todd.
Like him?
Like him, I love him. He looks just like the little monkey in the Bruegel painting. But why today?
I just wanted to see you smile. You haven't very much since the initiation began.
Guess I can't help worrying about you.
Well, you won't have to very much longer. It'll be all over tonight.
Is tonight hell night?
Oh, now, don't worry. I'll be all right. I promise you. Go ahead, hurry.
Good luck.
Julie!
Sheet flat, Stephen. Sheet flat. I didn't hear you come in. Who were you dreaming about? One of your co-eds?
How did you guess?
Tracy Norman?
Could be. I was thinking of running away to Persia with her.
Would she go with you even though you're hopelessly married?
In this modern age, huh?
Oh, you laboratory roulette. The string of hearts you captured behind a test tube.
Well, it's true.
I know it is. That's how I felt for you. And last year there was Sally Robinson. Thank heaven she graduated. And the year before that it was Mary Lou Welch with all those mysterious phone calls at night. And the year before
What
that...
a pity. I love my wife.
You know, I'm at a terrible disadvantage. Well, I keep getting older all the time. You keep getting a fresh batch of co-eds every semester.
Fresh, yes, but none of them is your experience.
We better get ready. I promised the Mayberries we'd be there at 7.
Oh, let's get there a little late.
Darling, the Mayberries only wait for the St. Clairs, and the St. Clairs wait for no one.
They can wait for us.
Stephen, need I remind you that you're not the only one interested in becoming dean of the medical college? The other fellows are staying awake nights trying to please the right people for that appointment. Whoever that is, send him away.
You bet I will. Schnuckelpuss.
Snucklepuss.
Julie!
Is Dr. Bryce in?
Well, he's just getting ready to go out. I'm Mrs. Bryce. Could I help you?
I'm Mrs. Palmer, Todd Palmer's mother. Is it possible that I might see him for just a few minutes? I don't plan to stay in town overnight and...
By all means, Mrs. Palmer, won't you come in?
Thank you. I know I should have called first.
Oh, nonsense. This is an unexpected pleasure.
If you will excuse me, I know you'll both rather talk alone. I'll have your clothes laid out on the bed when you come up, Stephen.
Thank you, Julie. In here, next to the fire where it's nice and warm. Can I offer you anything?
No, thank you.
I saw Todd this morning. I wish he had mentioned you were in town.
We didn't know that I was coming, Dr. Bryce. You know boys. He'd be so upset if he knew I came to see his professor about him. But when I got this in the mail from him, I had to talk to somebody. What does it mean? Is it a joke or something?
Mrs. Palmer, did Todd ever tell you anything about Hell Night?
Only that it was the last night of his initiation into the fraternity.
Well, it is. It's the climax of the whole 6-week affair. The final test for a pledge, and one which fraternities traditionally make the stiffest. Now, if Todd were injured, this affidavit releases Omega Nu from any responsibility.
And they want me to sign this?
You boys are minor. This is mainly a device fraternities use to frighten their pledges beforehand. A large part of the initiation is psychological.
Well, I don't know about these things, Dr. Bryce. None of us ever went to college, except Todd. But it's in the newspapers all the time, someone getting hurt at these college initiations.
Well, an accident happens occasionally, yes, but...
Then how can I sign this? I'm his mother.
Mrs. Palmer, I'm opposed to hazing on every count. But Todd has had his heart set on belonging to this fraternity from the very first day he came to Wake. It's meant a great deal to him. He's taken all the punishment they could dish out, and I know it hasn't been easy. It would be a shame to stop him so short of his goal.
You mean that they wouldn't let him into the fraternity if I didn't sign it?
There is no telling. But if he were blackballed, they may label him a coward, and that, I'm afraid, would hurt Todd more than any initiation.
Then you think I ought to sign it?
I think your son would be greatly disappointed if you didn't.
Thank you, Dr. Bryce. I'll see that it's dropped off at the fraternity house tonight. Please don't tell Todd that I was here. I know he'd be so upset.
I won't. And don't worry too much about him. After all, they're only boys and mainly interested in seeing whether he's a good sport.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I just don't know whether I am. Goodbye, Dr. Bryce.
Goodbye.
Hey, can I borrow your talcum?
Sure.
What masculinity? What virility? Nothing.
What time is it, somebody?
8:15. Hey, stop being so edgy. So if the affidavit doesn't come, think of the wonderful excuse you got to miss this nightmare. Hey, I wonder what would happen if none of us showed up tonight.
We'd be blackballed out of this frat just about as fast as it takes a squirrel to run up a tree.
Now, the way I feel, that isn't fast enough. How about as fast as a rocket out of Aberdeen?
Stop complaining, Beanie. You can take it out on next year's batch of scums.
This came for you by messenger. Thank you, sir.
Well, take care of yourselves and good luck to you all. I'll see you later.
Thanks,
Thanks.
sir. The affidavit. My mother came through.
Come on, then, let's go.
I'm ready.
Omega Nu, I hate you. Omega Nu, I do.
Freeze, scums!
Wearing your burlaps, good. Have you got your signed affidavits?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. You're being split up. Scums Wellman and Crane follow Mr. Finley. Scums Palmer and Brown follow me.
My car.
Do you mind? We borrowed it. Get in. Just a precaution. We don't want you to know where you're going. Let's go.
Please face your worthy lords and masters who are members and alumni of Omega Nu. Would Would you all rise and recite the doxology while I light the 4 candles commemorating our 4 illustrious founders, Robert J. Bassler, Frank Joseph, Paul B. Chase, and William Stocker. Loyal to one another, we pledge our faith in Omega Nu. And to the highest ideals of service and honor in our work. May our devotion to these principles bring credit to our fraternity and college.
Looks like his old man, doesn't he? Looks like it, maybe. But there was only one Ben Walker.
You 4 scums have been chosen by the men of Omega Nu to share our comradeship, preserve our ideals, and reflect our glory. To prove you are worthy of this honor, you have lived the life of a scum, performing at our command certain tasks and enduring certain hardships. Now comes the final and supreme test, the one for which you shall need the most courage. If you are ready and willing, please give me your signed affidavits. Will the tailors come forward, please? Shorten the cuffs for the scums, please. Omega Nu men are always pictures of sartorial splendor. Now will the makeup men come forward? Now bring the dog. Lowly one, it has fallen upon you the solemn obligation of making a blood sacrifice to the god Zeus, the father and benefactor of Omega Nu. Shoot him behind the ear. Scum, the god Zeus awaits. This is an order, scum. Kill that dog. Do you hear me?
No, I won't.
All right, since you've chosen to disgrace yourself, your fellow scum will have to make the sacrifice for you. Your only redemption will be to drink the sacrificial blood.
Masquerade ball?
Fraternity initiation.
What do you know?
Thanks.
Okay.
Todd.
They killed a dog.
What?
They killed a dog.
Killed a dog? Julie, fix up some coffee, will you? Come on, Todd, you'll stay here overnight. Come on.
Any statement, Mr. District Attorney?
No.
How did we get a picture?
Some mess, huh?
Did they do anything to you?
Oh, nothing really. Is the whole school talking?
Hold on a minute, will you? Bob.
I'll see you just as soon as I get back.
Now look, son, I can't spend the whole day going in circles. Do you remember the place or don't you?
It's around here somewhere.
Do you remember any landmarks at all, Todd?
Well, those trees, it was about 100 yards away. I think it's over in that direction.
Let's go.
Yes, in there. Go over the whole area. See if the ground's been freshly dug up anywhere. The chances are they buried that dog not far from here. Where was that bonfire you were talking about?
It was right about here.
Well, no ashes or anything. Any of them smoking?
Yes, I think so.
Well, no cigarette butts around either.
They must have cleaned up the place thoroughly before they left.
Tell me, son, do you get very sore at people when they go against you? I mean, you were pretty angry at the fraternity for the way they treated you, weren't you?
Well, I didn't like it, I suppose. Nobody does.
Were you sore enough, do you think, to want to get back at them?
Mr. Hopkins, I saw Todd Palmer right after the initiation. He did not make up that story.
I just wondered. You know, boys sometimes do strange things for revenge. Find anything?
Not yet, sir. The ground's packed pretty solid.
I'll stick around and continue combing this area. Anything turns up, call me. Well, let's see if we're more successful at the Omega New House.
I'm sorry to have to disturb you like this, but it's necessary. May I have a drink of water?
I'll get it for you, sir.
Who was in charge of the initiation last night?
I was, Mr. Hopkins.
What's your name?
Kai Walker, sir.
Well, Mr. Walker, Mr. Palmer here says the dog was killed last night.
Mr. Palmer is mistaken.
You had a dog with you, didn't you? Out in the country?
Yes. But if you'll give me a moment, I think I can clear this up. Excuse me.
I hope you're all aware that the municipal code regards cruel and inhuman treatment of a dumb animal as a misdemeanor. That means you can all be sent to jail.
This is Sport, our mascot. We always take a mascot along with us to all our functions.
That isn't the dog. That couldn't be the dog.
No, it couldn't be. He doesn't look very dead.
This is another dog. I know it is.
Hello, Jesse. Bryce. I came over as soon as I heard you were here. Thanks, Mayberry. Your school's in it this time. Well, I'm sure it can't be as bad as it looks, but I'm at your service, Jesse, completely. Thanks, but it looks like I'm going to need a lie detector around here. Someone's lying through his teeth. Who's Beanie Brown?
I am.
Oh, is Beanie your real name?
Bartholomew.
You were the other pledge who was with Mr. Palmer?
Yes, sir.
About the dog. Is that the one that was there?
Yes, sir.
Beanie, tell him the truth.
Were you told to kill the dog?
Yes, sir.
And
It wasn't a real bullet. It was a blank.
is this the sort of thing that goes on in these initiations?
We just wanted to see if he had enough nerve.
Jesse, I've been president of Wake College for the past 8 years, and during this time, I've seen this happen before. No shame. A boy under the stress of an initiation is sometimes capable of imagining almost anything. Now, you know as well as I do that this sort of thing doesn't happen here at Wake. Initiations are tough here, yes. They're interested in finding out whether a boy has backbone. But they're as harmless and American as baseball.
1 minute, Mr. Mayberry. I've known Todd ever since he enrolled at Wake. I've worked with him after school. And I think I know the way he's constructed. His story cannot be dismissed that easily.
The dog's here.
He says this is not the same dog.
Palmer, did you actually see a dog being killed?
I didn't look, but I heard.
Then you couldn't be absolutely sure one was killed.
They tried to make me drink the blood.
It's a lie.
Now, Jesse, I've known these boys since they enrolled, too. I can assure you they are of the highest character and come from the finest backgrounds. As we all know, Kai's father here, Benjamin Walker, was president of the student body in '29, had a brilliant record here. Roy's father, Mr. Collins. Roy's father, he's a state senator. Now, I don't wish to appear arbitrary in this matter, but I'm perfectly willing to take their word. Any.
Well, unless somebody actually produces the dead body of the dog, the incident's closed as far as I'm concerned. Come on, you two. I'll drop you off.
I'll see you Thursday night at Lodge meeting, Jesse.
Yeah.
I appreciate your interest, Dr. Bryce. I'm sure you did what you thought was your duty.
Thank you. But I'm afraid my interest does not stop here. Good day, Mr. Mayberry.
I hope you didn't kill any dog. I hope you didn't, for your own good.
That is the dog, sir. I swear it.
Where is your house telephone?
This way, sir. Jim, would you show Mr. Mayberry the phone?
Yes, this way, sir.
Nice going, Beanie. We'll be all right if we just don't weaken. Palmer looked pretty foolish.
Maybe. But I don't think we've heard the last of him yet.
He's not going to stick around much longer, I guarantee that. The shoe's on the other foot now. He slung mud all over this school, and we're going to point that out to the student body.
I think we've gone far enough.
So do I.
Would you rather we all got expelled instead? Look, since when do we have to be charitable to a guy who's tried to ruin us? We took our initiation, all of us. Didn't you, Jack? Didn't you, Steve? We didn't scream our heads off. Why should he? Anything that happens, he's got coming to him. All right, relax, everybody, before Mr. Mayberry comes back. Jerry, how about lighting this joint up with some piano, huh? Hello, Judy.
Aye. Where's Todd?
Took a room near the campus. Now, Julie, the lining in my coat is beginning to rip.
I'll have it mended tomorrow, kind sir.
Taking up knitting again?
Whenever I'm nervous.
Madame Lafarge said before the guillotine, knitting and waiting for the heads to roll.
Here, let me.
Julie, did you believe Todd's story last night?
Yes.
Completely?
Yes, last night. Stephen, they had a dog at the fraternity house today, and it was alive.
Whom have you been talking to?
Holland Mayberry called a little while ago to invite us to the country club dance Saturday night. It just happened to come out in the conversation. Stephen, you're not going to pursue this any further, are you?
Should I permit him to humiliate that boy?
Well, he could have imagined the story, and it would be best all around if he did.
Exactly what else did Mayberry tell you?
I don't know. Hello, goodbye. What else could he say?
Did he tell you it would be more discreet if I forget the whole affair?
Darling, I don't remember what he said exactly.
But there was no mistaking the intent. He wants to hush this up. He's not concerned about the boy. He's expendable. This means scandal to him. And a lot of alumni breathing down his neck.
He has to think about his future, just like you do. I'm not Madame Lafarge, and this isn't the tale of two cities, and I don't want to see your head roll.
Is being appointed dean of the medical school that important to you?
Well, Holland Mayberry's recommendation could mean a great deal. He could swing it for you.
Yeah, I know, but just how important is it to you?
It's something I've wanted very much for a long time.
I see.
Oh, Stephen, you are one of the foremost blood pathologists in the country. You can't remain a threadbare professor forever. Honestly, you could make more selling used cars or vacuum cleaners. We should be able to entertain at home occasionally or go to the country club without having to wait for an invitation from the Mayberrys or the St. Clairs.
Surely, you amaze me. You've become a real social climber. The Mayberrys, the St. Clairs.
Darling, I like these people. Don't you understand? These are the kind of people I knew before we were married. Oh, Stephen, we've struggled together for 5 years, economizing here and cutting quarters there and sacrificing summer vacations so you could continue your experiments at the university. Should I be ashamed of wanting a little more for us now? Darling, there's nothing more you can do by dragging this on, except to make it more difficult for Todd.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Come on, I've got dinner waiting.
Hey, Steve, get a load of this. That Freddie Stone is really great with his cartoons.
Paper, friend.
I've seen it, friend.
Sorry, friend. But maybe you'd like an extra one to send home or to the DA's. You're a big man on the campus now, friend.
Like a drink, would you? Still want to walk me to the Omega house?
Yes.
Brave girl.
Well, here he is. Don't let him get your goat. There's a lot of us that believe you.
I can't believe it. It's the same school we dreamed of going to.
Looked good in the catalog.
Todd, let's quit school. Let's go home, back to Clarkville. We can enroll somewhere else in the spring.
What are we doing until spring?
There's plenty of work for you on the farm, and I could help Mother.
No good, Kathy.
You're not worried about what people will say, are you? Everyone's known we were going to be married since we were 13. No one will be surprised if we come home together.
We'll go home together when we're ready, but not now.
But why?
Because that's exactly what Omega knew would like to see us do. Pack up and run home. But I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. I'm going to convince this school I'm telling the truth.
What does it matter now?
It matters. Not only to me, but to the next bunch of scums who get initiated, and the next. Don't you see?
Will they all be there now?
Some of them, I suppose. Don't worry. I won't waste any time there. I'll just pick up my clothes and get out.
Do you want me to wait for you?
No. You go ahead. I'll see you tonight.
Tonight.
Go ahead. I'll be all right.
Come to visit. I'm picking up my things. Hey, men, look who's here, the animal lover.
Deal me, I gotta go to the post office.
I've had enough, too.
Now, who nailed those shoes to the floor? Come on, let's show him we're good sports and help him with the rest of it.
Don't forget your girlfriend.
Hey, don't mess up the place, Todd.
Don't forget your toothbrush.
Get him! Hold him!
You're not wanted, Palmer. Do you understand? Go home. We don't want you. Throw him out of here.
Get up! On the porch! On your way, Palmer. We don't want you. On your way! Go home! We don't want you! Go home! Go home! We don't want you! Go home! Go home! We don't want you! Go home! We don't want you! Go home!
He's in pretty bad shape, Mrs. Palmer. Internal injuries and damage to the spine. I couldn't let you in to see him.
Doctor, he's going to live, isn't he?
We'll do everything possible, but we can't promise anything.
How useless, useless, useless. How will they judge him now, those boys? By how much punishment he can take without crying? Tell me, what does it matter now that he was a good sport? Oh, my heart told me that I never should have signed that paper. This wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't. But You, the level-headed professor, wanting to be so fair-minded, said be a good mother. Give the boy his wish. He got it. Should I be a good sport now and hide my tears, forgive them, release them from the injuries that my boys received? I can't.
I'll tell him. Goodbye. Hello, Dr. Bryce. Did you...
How is he?
Critical. Harlan, I want permission to address the Board of Regents. I appreciate it if you call a meeting for tomorrow.
What for?
I want them to know what happened here today. The whole story. The student at Wake is in a hospital because of the humiliation he suffered at the hands of the fraternity.
Well, he went through a signal, Stephen. It was an accident.
Caused by whom? The police officer who found him reported that nobody could have seen the signal through that windshield.
Well, it was an accident, nevertheless. Nobody planned it. Stephen, I know this is a terrible tragedy for you. It is for me. It is for all of us. There's nothing we can accomplish by storming the Board of Regents.
We can make them abolish hazing, because that's where this accident began, on Hell Night.
If I were absolutely convinced of that, Stephen, I would call the meeting myself this minute. But no one has ever proven that a dog was killed. Now, to the contrary, it looks to all of us as if Todd had just let his imagination run away with him.
But Harlan, if that were true, why was Omega Nu so eager to run him out of school?
Stephen, please don't raise your voice. It carries into the hall.
Oh, let it carry. Omega Nu was afraid that Todd eventually may be able to prove that he was right. That's why the go home, we don't want you.
That's still a guess.
Oh, Harlan, you amaze me. How important can it be to protect the reputation of a gang of delinquents?
Stephen, apparently you have no conception of how many people are affected by a scandal in a college. There are 3,000 students here, Stephen. Each of them has parents who'd withdraw their children from school at a moment's notice. Then there's the Alumni Association, who freeze at their checkbooks at the first hint of something wrong.
So it all boils down to money, doesn't it? Always money.
Well, don't sneer at it. How do you think we got our new buildings? Who do you think gave the money to build this new medical school you're interested in heading? Do you think we won it in a lottery? Well, the money came from tuition, yes, but mostly from those people on the outside. Now, I refuse to jeopardize the future of this college. Now, for your sake, not on the basis of the evidence I have.
Is that your last word?
Stephen, the boy is not your responsibility.
He is my responsibility. I advised his mother to sign the Omega Nu release.
You did?
I'm not going to ignore him now.
Well, what do you intend to do?
I don't know yet.
Stephen, you and I have been friends for a long time. I cannot permit you to assume the duties of my office. You get paid for teaching science. I shall have to ask you to confine yourself to that job. I'm your superior, and that is an order.
Do you want to see Mr. Mayberry now?
No, thanks, not now. Ammonium hydroxide ought to take care of that. It's an acid neutralizer, the book says.
A little early for class, aren't you?
For class. Mr. Mayberry believes that a clean front is much more important than a pure soul. I was in the outer office waiting to see him about getting out of girls' gym. The transom was open.
School never interferes with your education, does it, Miss Lawler?
Nor with anything I really want. I've been kicked out of 3 schools already.
Why?
Excitement. And I like to embarrass Daddy.
Thank you.
I had an idea I thought would interest you.
Really?
If Mayberry won't let you talk to our illustrious Board of Regents, why not appeal to the student body to cut out hazing? Those are the ones who support this ivory tower.
Miss Norman, I'm afraid Mr. Mayberry will not permit me to use the auditorium or any other place on campus for such a purpose.
I'm not talking about the campus. You can use our estate. We have a lawn almost as big as Rhode Island where you can seat any number of students. Daddy's in New York, and I've been given a complete run of the place.
May I ask, Miss Norman, what's on your mind? Why are you so interested in helping?
I don't like fraternities. They're snobbish as sororities. Only the right people get in quotes. And I have an aversion to the right people.
I see.
I'm sorry I couldn't say I was concerned about Todd. He was in class, but I hardly knew him. Well, do you want the place or don't you?
Friday night?
The Norman estate is yours. And if you need the help of a secretary or a general leg man, I'm at your service.
Well, thank you. Can you be at my house tomorrow night at, let us say, 9?
Your house?
Yes, I need somebody to take notes.
It'll be a pleasure.
From what you have said, Dr. Bryce, it strikes me that you're asking us, the faculty, to lend our presence to a meeting that opposes college fraternities. I think fraternities do a lot of good, and I, for one, am solidly behind them.
I think you misunderstood me, Professor North. I did not intend to condemn college fraternities as such. Fraternities is a place for young men to live together democratically under the same roof, make lifelong friends are of great value. What I'm indicting is fraternity hazing, a practice contradictory to the finest ideals of fraternity life, as dangerous and as barbaric.
Dr. Bryce, I really don't feel you're qualified to discuss the pros and cons of fraternity life. Your father sent you to Germany to be educated. Heidelberg, I believe. And your understanding of this phase of American culture must therefore be limited.
I must take exception to that, Professor Edwards. Dr. Bryce has been at Wake much too long for that kind of talk.
Please forgive me. Will the secretary please strike that from her minutes? It seems to me, Dr. Bryce, that your whole attitude is, well, rather unmanly. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I'm leaving. Will you excuse me?
Me too. Good night.
Excuse me.
As for me, I join with you, Dr. Bryce, in seeing far broader implications than just the hazing of one college boy. The boys responsible for it will be the men who will shape our future.
Thank you. Well, how do the rest of you feel?
Dr. Bryce, a number of us got together before we came here tonight and talked about this meeting you proposed. We're on your side, believe us, but if we supported a meeting of this nature publicly, we'd be placing ourselves and our jobs in serious jeopardy. We prefer not to take a stand on this issue until a more favorable time. Good night, Dr. Bryce. And if you go through with this, good luck.
Thank you. Good night. Just you two.
They couldn't get rid of me. I'm the only one in the state who can explain Einstein's new theory of gravitation. Good night.
Good night, and thanks.
Good night.
Frightened little men.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
That's the excuse they tell themselves. G.B. Shaw said it better. He who can, does. He who cannot, teaches.
With all of your volunteer work, I'm surprised you have time to read. Shaw above all.
He's my guiding light. A disrespecter of authority, convention, and middle-class morality. I worship the man.
I imagine it's the middle-class morality that pleases you most.
Good night.
Are you worried about your husband?
A great deal. But not on your account. Excuse me.
We were a smash tonight, weren't we?
You're not still going ahead with this, are you?
I think I can manage without the faculty.
But, darling, they're right. The college investigation found the boy's innocent of any criminal intent. You're going against all the regulations. Mayberry will never let you get away with it.
Darling, if this meeting is a success, I don't think Mayberry will do anything to antagonize the student body.
Yes, but what if it isn't a success?
I'll have to take that chance.
Oh, Stephen, it isn't fair. Not when we're so close to getting that dean's appointment.
Darling, I have to take Tracy home. We'll talk about it when I get back, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Tracy, are you ready?
Good night, Mrs. Bryce.
Good night, Tracy.
Thank you.
Stephen, be careful driving.
I thought your wife was coming up here to help us.
She wanted to, but she couldn't make it.
Too bad. Dr. Bryce, would you hand me that light bulb?
Sure.
Oh.
You're going to break your neck if you're not careful. All right?
Fine. Stephen.
Julie.
Hello, Mrs. Bryce.
Could I speak to you for a moment alone?
Sure, darling, sure.
Stay, I'll go.
Oh, I knew you'd come, Julie. I
I
couldn't
didn't
believe...
come to help, Stephen.
Oh?
Isn't there anything I can say to make you change your mind about this?
You were quite explicit last night.
Stephen, you used to stay awake nights wishing to heaven you could be in a position to furnish the lab with the equipment they need, remember?
Mm-hmm.
New discoveries every day, new equipment is needed. You were consumed with the idea of sending out the best trained students in the country.
I still am.
Well, now's your chance to do something about it.
Julie, what on earth makes you so sure that I've got this appointment?
I just saw Mayberry.
You did?
Yes, and if you drop this whole affair now, and he doesn't have to know it's just for now, the appointment is yours.
You mean wait for a more opportune time, as Professor Ingersoll suggested?
Yes.
Julie, look. You don't understand. The time to attack fraternity hazing is now, while Todd's accident is still news. I owe this to Todd and to his mother.
Don't you owe me anything, Stephen?
Of course, darling. Now, what is the matter with you?
I gave Mayberry my word you'd stop.
Julie, how could you?
I'm not as hopeful as you are that this meeting will be a success. Oh, Stephen, I did it because I was thinking of our future. I'm not just an irresponsible co-ed who's in this just as an excuse to latch herself onto you.
Julie, leave Tracy out of it. She's been doing what you should have done.
I know, I saw.
She's giving me this place, pitched in getting it ready. She's done research for my speech.
Everything, including being a mother and a wife to you.
What are you talking about?
You and she by the ladder as I arrived.
Julie,
I'm trying to be understanding, for after all, we are two mature people who shouldn't expect each other to be completely invulnerable.
Darling, she fell. I caught her.
Stephen, I'm past the age of the birds and the bees.
Oh, this is insane. I teach at a co-educational school, boys and girls. You can't keep suspecting every girl in my class.
This one's different.
Julie. What can I do to prove I love you?
Forget this meeting.
Ask me anything else.
There's nothing else I want. Nothing else.
This is awful. For the first time in 5 years of married life, we are deadlocked.
I know, and one of us has got to break it. Stephen, if you think you have to go on with this, I haven't seen my family in a long time, and it might be good to get away.
Dr. Bryce, you're wanted on the phone.
Don't decide now. Think it over and let me know when you're sure.
Did I make an untimely entrance?
What?
Nothing.
Fraternity hazing is to trial in other colleges and universities all over the country. And where it hasn't been abolished, there have been accidents as tragic as Todd Palmer's. A pledge was killed last month at State University, fell off a steeple. Here is the newspaper clipping dated October 23rd. Another pledge at Central Tech was drowned. The paper carried it on May the 4th. Would you believe it? Over a dozen boys have been killed because of fraternity initiations this year. And there is no telling how many accidents were hushed up, went unreported. What is the answer? There is no answer for Todd right now, but there is for the pledges who will follow him. I want all of you here to sign a petition asking the Board of Regents to abolish hazing at Wake. Change Hell Week to Help Week. A week we can take pride in. A week in which a pledge can work for the betterment of the school and the community. Instead of... What is it, Kathy?
Todd is dead.
When?
Half an hour ago.
Kathy. I hoped so much.
Did you hear? Todd is dead. Here's the petition. Sign it.
It's all right. You fell asleep.
What time is it?
11:30. Took us over an hour to put the chairs away.
Chairs. Oh, yes, yes.
You were working as if you were in another world. You wanted some coffee.
No, I'd rather be going.
It's so late. Why don't you stay? You can have Daddy's room upstairs.
Thank you, but I'd rather not.
I don't play games, Dr. Bryce. Do you think I'm too young?
No.
Do you think this is just a schoolgirl crush I have?
Well, it isn't uncommon for students to romanticize their teachers. Somebody who seems to be endowed with maturity and wisdom and often isn't.
I'm not the type to romanticize anyone, Dr. Bryce. I've taken your classes for 2 semesters now, and I've made it my business to know you. I can tell you what suits you have, what you eat, what you read.
This doesn't mean that you know me, Tracy. Those are the externals. You don't know what I think, what I feel.
I think I know that, too. We've worked together on this meeting for almost a week. Why don't you stop pretending that a teacher is a saint, that being interested in a student is immoral?
It is not immoral.
Then why do you act the way you do around me? I don't have many inhibitions, I'm afraid.
Don't, Tracy.
It's my revolt against my Boston upbringing, against all the narrow-minded codes that vilify happiness.
Don't, Tracy, you'll get hurt.
Your wife didn't show up tonight. I put 1 and 1 together. You're available.
Listen, Tracy. I like you, yes. As a matter of fact, I think you are one of the most attractive people I've ever met. But you're completely and thoroughly spoiled. Your revolt is not against convention, but against people who won't give you what you want. You're going to have to learn to accept the word no, because there are an awful lot of no's in the world. And when you do, then maybe you'll start growing up instead of just older.
Thank you, Doctor. I should have taken notes.
Where are you going in such a hurry?
What are you doing here? Leave me alone.
Not until I talk to you. I've been waiting for that professor of yours to leave.
What do you want? You're hurting me.
This meeting here tonight. You've always been unpredictable, but I never thought you'd turn out to be the crusading type. What happened to you?
I don't know. Mass hysteria. Call it anything you like.
Hey, what's the matter?
Pompous, conceited bag of wind. I must turn out of my mind. I hate him. I hate him.
Come here. Come here. I don't buy him any more than you do.
And you're crazy if you let him crucify you.
He's on his way out. He's bucking President Mayberry and all the rest of the boys.
They wouldn't fire him now, you fool. Not after tonight, not with the whole student body behind him. You've called signals all year and you haven't lost a game yet. Call a signal now, why don't you?
What can I do?
I don't know. Something.
Hello.
Hello.
everything all right now?
I want to apologize for last night.
No apology necessary. Let's forget the whole thing.
I just had the mistaken notion that you liked me. That you really wanted to kiss me, but you were afraid.
If it doesn't matter, please forget it.
Other boys like to kiss me. I thought you were just waiting for me to make the first move.
Please.
I wonder what would have happened if I had made the first move. If I'd kissed you like this. And then when he asked me into his office, I thought it was about the meeting we had or something. I sat down, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but he began talking about his wife. That she had left him because she didn't understand him, or what he was fighting against. That he felt I was the only one who did. I wasn't sure what he was leading up to until he took my books out of my hands and put them down on the desk. I jumped up and I begged him to let go of me, but he wouldn't. I don't know what I did then. I think I scratched him and ran out into the hall screaming.
Gentlemen, I don't know what to say. I'm as shocked by this as I think you must be. Yes, my wife has left me. Yes, Miss Norman was in my office. But the rest Miss Norman deliberately made up. I can't prove it. Nobody was around. You'll have to take my word for it.
Dr. Bryce, you have quite a reputation with the co-eds at Wake, haven't you?
I don't see where that's relevant, Mr. Blaine.
Dr. Bryce is here before us on a morality charge. And for a teacher, I can think of nothing more disgraceful. Mr. Chairman, parents entrust their children to men like him with complete confidence. Now, that confidence has been violated. It reflects on the whole teaching profession. The question asked is intended only to obtain as much information as possible about his character, so that we may more easily understand what happened.
Mr. Blaine, if you're really interested in my character, why don't you ask Mr. Maybury? He's known me ever since I started teaching at Wake.
Gentlemen, Dr. Bryce has been a very dear friend of mine. His character, from my point of view, has always been above reproach. However, as president of Wake College, I am bound to the duties of my office. I cannot permit a personal relationship to take precedence over the facts.
The board has tried very hard to come to a just decision. We weighed carefully everything that has been said, being aware at all times that an accusation does not necessarily imply guilt. And we must admit we're still not certain which of you is telling the truth. Unfortunately, the damage has already been done in the minds of a great many parents and prospective students. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We could not, in the best interests of Wake, retain you as a professor, Dr. Bryce. That is our decision.
I see.
Please bear in mind that the welfare of Wake was our primary concern.
Of course. In a situation like this, somebody has to be expendable. But please don't be sorry. When I look around at Wake and see what is happening, I realize it's an honor. Good day, gentlemen.
I hope you were telling the truth, Miss Norman. Dr. Bryce was one of our best. Would you like me to send a note around to your instructors, excusing you for the rest of the day?
It doesn't matter. I'll be quitting school in the morning.
Well, gentlemen, be seeing you.
It had to be done, Harlan.
But I feel sick.
Stephen.
Julie.
I couldn't stay away. The more I tried to convince Mother I was right, the less I convinced myself.
Julie. Come, let's get out of here. Time to come back.
It was the only time. Let's go home.
How are you doing, Julie?
Great.
We put these just in the back of the car. Cheer up, Julie. What's the matter? Wait till you see the lakes in Wisconsin. The fish there, they fight each other for the line.
Sounds like a vacation.
It will be. Dad has 40 acres, a couple of horses. He still brews his own beer, which he'll undoubtedly force on us.
Oh, fine. And what happens to my calorie chart?
Dad does not believe in calorie charts or the modern conception of a good figure. For him, a woman has to be there, strong and substantial. You're hiding behind your back.
Me? Nothing.
Oh, the music box. Give it to me, Julie, please. Oh, that was a night, wasn't it, Julie? With your petticoats whirling.
Yes.
Why didn't you want me to see it?
I was going to throw it away. The sooner we forget this place, the better.
Don't be ashamed of not hating Wake, Julie. It's been our home for 5 years, and we have some wonderful memories. All our friends, the students. I'm really sorry we are leaving.
So am I. Do you think we'll ever come back?
I don't know. Right now, mothers are pulling their kids off the street when they see me coming.
That girl. If I could just have 5 minutes with her, just 5 minutes.
Don't, Julie. It's all over now, and it's no good for either of us to rehash it.
I'm sorry. Oh, I guess that's the man from the storage.
One minute.
Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive. Amen. I looked for you today. Thought you'd like to be on the entertainment committee for the formal.
Thanks, but I'm all out of time.
Come out of it. Where's the old yachts, the laughs? From now on, fraternity life is going to be fun. Tuxes, big-name bands, the extracurricular life.
Thought there was talk of suspending it.
Not since Bryce got the boot.
Whatever happened to the good old days when the juiciest college scandal was a frosh going on a drunk and ringing the church bells?
I don't know, but I wish those days were back again. Pass the potatoes.
What's the matter, Phil?
Nothing, except this school seems to be rotten from the foundation up.
Well, these things happen. You're not a child.
They don't happen to girls like Tracy Norman.
What do you mean?
If Bryce made a pass at her, she'd still be clutching him. The whole thing doesn't sit right with me.
And I second it. That Norman gal's about as innocent as a traveling salesman's joke.
Look, you fellas were just scums. You haven't really enjoyed fraternity life yet. That girl did us a favor.
Not for me, she didn't. I've been at Omega Nu for 2 years. It does make me happy to see somebody getting railroaded.
He was fired. You'll get another job.
Not teaching. No school in the country take a chance after this.
I never heard such garbage in my life. And I want you all to understand this. We could have been in lots of trouble, but we have the right people on our side. They don't want to see us hurt, and I don't want to see us hurt. I saw Tracy Norman right after that meeting on her father's estate. We got the idea then, together. She wanted to get even, and I wanted him out of the way, for us. I may not enjoy your appreciation, but I don't want to feel like a foul ball, either.
Excuse me.
Dr. Bryce. This is Bartholomew Braun, Beanie. I'm sorry, I can't talk any louder. But please don't leave town yet. I just found out about Tracy Norman. You were right, the whole thing in your office was fixed. Well, I can't go into it now, but anytime you want, I'll tell everything I know to the Board of Regents. Just leave a note in my box on campus telling me when to be there. But please don't try to get in touch with me personally. I don't want to...
Just say goodbye. Just goodbye, and hang up.
Goodbye, Dr. Bryce.
Now listen to me. You're not going near the Board of Regents. When Bryce asks for you, you'll say you never spoke to him. Somebody else must have and said it was you.
Let go.
The whole thing must have been somebody's idea of a joke, do you understand? Now, look, Beanie. You stood up beautifully before the district attorney, beautifully. You earned your Omega Nu pin. You can't crack now because the fate of 50 brothers is dependent on you. These are your buddies and you must be loyal to them.
Loyal? I'm so ashamed of my loyalty. I haven't been able to write a letter home. Well, I'm through worrying about what the boys think of me. I lied about the dog and that was enough. I'm not going to run another man's life for the sake of an all-American heel.
All right, you said enough. Now walk.
My arm.
Faster.
Let go. What do you think you're doing?
I don't want to hurt you, Beanie, but I will if I have to.
You let me out again.
I'm good and ready. I worked hard to make a reputation for myself at Wake. Twice as hard as most guys. Because I had a father who was a legend around here, and every time I made a move, I was compared with him.
That's your problem, not mine.
I know it is. But the name of Walker stands for too much to let a sniveling little kid foul me up now. You're not getting out of here. You do what I say.
I won't.
You will.
Dr. Bryce, we've been waiting over an hour. Are you quite sure that Mr. Brown got your message?
You should have. I left it in his box yesterday morning.
How's Julie?
She's fine, fine. Mrs. St. Clair?
Oh, she's fine, too.
May I make a suggestion? I know Dr. Bryce has promised not to get in touch with Mr. Brown. However, in order to get on with this, I think one of us should call the Omega Nu house and at least see if he's there. We don't have to tell him who's calling.
I think that's all right.
I'll call. Lucy, will you get me the Omega Nu house, please? Thank you. Hello? Is Mr. Brown there? Oh? Do you know where he went? Thank you. He left there early this morning.
Then he should have been here.
Dr. Bryce, I don't think it's fair to keep us waiting any longer. When you get hold of him, we'll be only too glad to listen to him.
Yes, of course.
It's a pity. I had hoped we could finish with this unpleasant business today.
So did I. Well, thank you very much for your time and patience. Good day.
How did it go? I thought you'd never come out.
He didn't show up. No word from him. Nothing.
Well, do you think something happened to him?
I don't know.
Wait a minute, look.
Julie, sit in the car. I'll be right back.
Not too sweet, huh, Angel?
Coming right up.
Good afternoon.
Oh, hello, Dr. Bryce.
Yeah, sit down. I'd like to talk to you, Beanie.
Sure.
Do you mind? I won't be long.
No, I'll wait at the fountain.
Sit down. What happened to you, Beanie?
What do you mean?
We waited for you almost an hour at Mr. Mayberry's office.
For me?
Didn't you get my message?
Navigator to interpreter. I don't know what this is all about, Dr. Bryce.
Beanie, you phoned me the night before last, remember?
Me?
You phoned me and told me you wanted to speak to the Board of Regents about Tracy Norman.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid you got the wrong party.
Beanie, my ears are still reliable, even if my reputation isn't.
It might have been somebody else who called and said it was me, but I never made a call like that.
And you, sir?
Nothing, thank you. Your jaw, Beanie, what happened to it?
I fell. Funny boy.
Fell, or did somebody hit you? Now tell me, Beanie, it's important.
I fell in the basement up against the incinerator.
Are you sure?
Why do you keep asking me questions? I want to help you, Dr. Bryce, but I can't.
You mean you can't right now?
I can't now. I can't anytime.
What happened to Kai's hand, Beanie?
Oh, I don't know. Football, I suppose.
Was he the one who hit you?
Nobody hit me. I fell in the basement up against the incinerator.
All right, Beanie. Meet me tonight at the college chapel at 8. We can be alone there.
I can't.
Oh, try. I'll wait.
Hello? He didn't. No, he hasn't called here. All right. I'll wait for your call. Bye-bye.
Who used all my razor blades? The doorbell. Will somebody get it?
I'll answer it.
Who did use all my razor blades?
Hello, Dr. Bryce.
Good evening, Mrs. Blair. Is Mr. Brown in?
Beanie. Why, he checked out of school late this afternoon.
Checked out?
Yes, he applied for leave of absence. I'm packing some of his things to send him now.
What about Kai Walker? Is he in?
Oh, Larry, is Kai here?
He went down to the tailor to pick up his tuxedo.
Oh, well, then he'll be back in a minute. It's only down at the corner.
Mind if I wait for him?
Of course not. You can wait up in his room if you like. The boys will be tearing through here. They're getting ready for tonight's formal. It's room number 14.
Thanks.
You get a trophy for almost anything nowadays. I even got one there for being the best dressed athlete of the year.
Hello, Kai.
Well, this is a surprise, Dr. Bryce. I thought you'd left us already. Won't you sit down?
No, thanks. I won't be long.
Tonight's the Omega Formal. I just picked up my tuxedo.
Kai, when I first started teaching, I promised myself never to show to a student that I was angry. But I've lost all my patience with you. What happened to Beanie Brown?
He went home.
Why?
May I borrow a pair of your cufflinks?
Sure.
Hello, Dr. Bryce.
Hello.
Thanks. I think Beanie told me somebody was sick at home.
No, Kai. I think somebody is sick right here.
What do you mean, Dr. Bryce?
Beanie was going to tell the Board of Regents what he knew about Tracy Norman. Somebody sick with fear changed his mind.
Is that why you came to see me?
Yes.
You have the wrong boy.
Have I? Then may I ask, how did you bruise your hand?
Football.
Mind if I look at it?
No, go ahead.
Ow! I'm sorry, it's pretty sore.
Football's pretty rough.
Is this the only bandage you've used?
Yes, why?
I'd like to keep it if you don't mind.
Keep it?
I'm going over to the lab tonight to pick up a few things. I'd like to run a few tests on it.
Oh, come now, Dr. Bryce. What for?
If you hit Beanie, There is the possibility, just a possibility, that some of his blood has come off on your hand and coagulated on the bandage. But if you didn't hit him, you have nothing to worry about.
Yes, but how do you know whether it's my blood or Beanie's or what?
Every student who takes blood pathology 2A with me has analyzed his blood for type, RH factor, the works. I'll match this with Beanie's analysis in my office records. Have a nice time at the formal tonight.
Your date's been looking all over for you. Well, dance with her, will you, Roy? I'll be in a little while. All right. I thought you'd come for it. Give it to me. Sorry, no. A lab report on it goes to the Board of Regents in the morning. If you don't mind, I'd like to step into the hall and turn on the lights. Give it to me, Dr. Bryce, or I'll take it. Don't behave like a fool. There are only 2 of us here, and I don't have any blocks about hitting a teacher. You don't have any blocks about hitting anybody. But I'm afraid I don't intimidate as easily as Beanie. Killing that dog has really caught up with you, hasn't it? Please. To cover that, you had to do something just as bad. And to cover that... Shut up. The pride of Wake. The boy thousands cheered killed a poor, defenseless animal. Shut up, I said. How did it feel to have that dog killed? Did you enjoy it? Was it something to brag about to the boys? Was it worthy of the son of Benjamin Walker? Killing that dog was a test. We don't ask for weaklings. Omega Nu is for men only. Now, give it to me. No. This goes to the Board of Regents with the whole story. How you beat up Beanie and sent him home so he could not testify that I was framed. Now, Tracy Norman... All right, so you know, but the proof is going out with me.
Come in, Judy.
Turn on the lights, please, Julie.
How?
I've never been so disgusted with anyone in my life. Report to my office in the morning, 9 o'clock sharp. Now, get out. Stephen, a confession is never an excuse for what a man does. But it will salve my soul. I didn't want to come here tonight. I preferred to forget it all like a bad dream. Professor Bixby here and Oglethorpe and your wife practically forced me to. What I have just witnessed made me loathe myself much more than Kai. And it is with the deepest humility that I offer you my apologies.
Sure, Harlan.
You haven't sold or rented your house yet, I hope?
Not yet.
Then would you consider staying on? All of us here want you to be dean of the medical school, Stephen. No strings, no conditions.
And his word that no boy at Wake College will ever be hazed again.
What do you say?
Try and stop us.
We're all very happy for you. Take care of him, Julie. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Stephen, we're expecting the largest mid-year freshman class in our history. I hope among them there'll be another Todd.